I'm actually going to do a do-over on this because I don't know that I covered that right. So I'm going to go back over this concept again. Doing this video a little different, facing the paper this time, not me. But I'm still here. The last one I just finished working out. So I was breathing like I was way out of shape, which maybe I am, but that's irrelevant. So what I want to talk about is I want to blend in some ideas and concepts from different people. So Richard Paul Evans, RPE, Richard Paul Evans, Janika Byington, JB, we're going to pull in her concept. We're going to pull mine. But some ideas here to help you just kind of go through your day and create some awesomeness for you, and also set and be clear with your boundaries around people. So I'm going to start with Richard Paul Evans' idea. And what he talks about is the 5 kingdoms. So you have 5 kingdoms. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this isn't going to be perfect. But he states that you are always at the center. You and source, higher power, highest self, source, God. You and that are at the center. Everything else comes outside of that. So family is second. Work would be third. Acquaintances. Fourth would be religion and organizations that you may be a part of. And fifth would be the world. As long as you remember that you're first, always, only always, then everything else works. But if family comes in and tries to replace source, so you rely on them more than you rely on source, then you're out of balance. If you allow your organization to come in and tell you how to live your life, then you're out of balance. It's not the way it should be. If you're pursuing fame and you want the attention of the world and you're allowing the world to come in and dictate who you are, you're out of balance. You can't be a true, let me not say that, not true human, because you're a human. You can't be true to yourself when you're pleasing or allowing others to influence what goes on in the center circle. This is sacred space. So Janika Byington, what she says is that there are 4 quadrants that we're focused on in our lives. Maslow talked about a hierarchy of needs. He talked about the baser needs of us, physical needs, where we take care of food, shelter, security. That's all down here, right? We'll just put an S there. Then you have ego needs, where you want to be recognized for something. And then you have self-actualization, which would be at the top. Well, she takes this and other concepts from big names and blends them. And she says that there's physical needs, intellectual needs, spiritual needs, and emotional needs that need to be met. And you know how I feel about the X. The X for me is a symbol of you being where you should be, that you're in the right spot, that you're exactly where you should be in your life, and that you get to trust that and work from there. If we were to draw an X and create quadrants on this, you would see that there are 4 needs that need to be met in every relationship that you're in. You being primary, you at the center of it all, that you need to meet your intellectual, emotional, spiritual, and physical needs. We tend to think black and white. We tend to think I'm all intellectual or I'm all spiritual. That is never the case. I'm all physical or I'm all spiritual or emotional, right? It's a quadrant. So sometimes you might be up here, sometimes way over here. It just depends on the situation. So your needs are going to be met depending on the situation. So you might be out here with family and you can look at your intellectual, spiritual, emotional, and physical needs and decide what would be best for that situation. And in knowing that you have these quadrants that you're going to work from, and you're always at the center, from there you can reach out to family and say, you know what, I can help you with your spiritual needs. I can help you learn something new. I can help you with your emotions. I can share my heart today. You know what, I have some extra money. I can help you with that. But it's always thinking with you at the center of it all. And some people get into a space where they're like, I can't be selfish. I don't want to come across as selfish. Well, that's not the case. It's self-caring, self-interested, because you really can't take care of others until yourself is taken care of. And so it's important that you remember that you come first, no matter what happens in your world. Two healthy people, what will occur is that they'll have an organization like this, and they'll run parallel with each other. They'll run side by side. What we tend to do is we tend to jump into their world. So we're here second tier, and we want to be telling them in their first tier how they should be living. And so that's not okay. And vice versa. They should not be coming into our space telling us how we should be living. We go to our work and they're like, you should be this type of person. If we allow them to influence the center, then we're out of balance. Good morning, Stacy. Good morning. I think Molly was on there. Molly, good to see you. Balancing needs. So the way to balance needs is sometimes you're going to be out of balance, Molly. So sometimes you're going to be more concerned with your physical needs than you are your intellectual needs. Sometimes you're going to feel more spiritual than you do intellectual or emotional. For me, emotions really got a hold of me, and I was way out of balance out here. And so as long as you remember there are going to be times that you're going to be emotional, you can bring it back to center. Okay? I'm going to have emotion. I'm going to go through grief. I'm going to go through anxiety and sadness, but I can bring that back to center. I'm going to go through times where I might not have enough money or physical needs aren't being met. I don't feel secure or safe. You want to work towards getting back to center. Spiritual, maybe you're not connected with source or your highest self. Then you can work towards coming back to center. Again, you and source, you and your highest self are going to always be at the center of this. Intelligence, intellect is huge. It's valuable. We work in a universe that scientists are just starting to explain that in the past 2,000 years we haven't even understood. And we're getting to a point that we understand things about quantum physics and how photons, protons, electrons work. I mean, what's interesting about this is if you break down an atom has protons and neutrons at the center, and electrons float out around it, just like this. And they're balanced. So if you have 4 electrons out here, you would have 4 protons in here. And if there was more than, if we had 5 electrons out here, it'll shed 1. If it has 3 out here, it will grab 1 to stay in balance. And so this is called an ion. Same with this. And that's where electricity and energy come from. But it is all about balance and equilibrium. And our lives pursue equilibrium. If we're in a space that's chaotic, then there's only so long that we can handle that before we've got to step out or become chaotic. And so if you follow the laws of entropy, entropy says that we pursue equilibrium. And if we're in a space or an environment that's chaotic, we're either going to become like that chaos or we're going to move away from it because it's too chaotic. I work in a work environment that's somewhat chaotic, and we're losing employees because it's not changing up here. I don't know how else to draw this, but the chaos is causing people to go where there's less chaos, to find equilibrium. So in your life, yeah, you're going to be out of balance sometimes, but you're always going to pursue equilibrium. And the only way you can reach equilibrium is focusing on you. You've got to take care of you. I know there's some people on here who have gone through some struggles. You know, I know with going through the divorce, it got super chaotic, but I'm starting to feel balanced again because I'm taking care of this. My family's still important, but they haven't lost their importance to me, but they don't come into my center. My work is important, but it doesn't come into my center. My organizations that I belong to don't come into my center. They don't tell me how to live. I live. And I connect that and check that with source. And if I feel good there, then I take it out here, out into the world. So if you haven't heard of Richard Paul Evans' 5 Kingdoms, you want to check it out. And then Janika Byington, I'll put a link for her 4 needs. And that's a good one. So look for those. I'll put those links in there for you guys so that you can read those. And then just remember, X is where you are and you're in the right spot. So go create a great day. Make it amazing. Let me know your comments and thoughts below, and then share this video if you like it. Appreciate it and love the messy art here. And I'll talk to you guys on the next video.